What's up, guys, and welcome to the best damn arm wrestling sports show, period. I'm Derek Schmidt, here with Scotty, Make the Moves Win, and my main man, Reza. I always mispronounce your last name, Dillingham.
Dilmaganian. It's
Domagani.
complicated, bro. I just go with the easy stuff. Rest is good.
Sorry.
It's all good, Bubba. It's all good. How
Um,
you been, man?
good. Just hanging out, man. Training, eating, trying to get as fresh as I can for next weekend, and do the best showing I can. I give the best showing I can give to that loudmouth, Travis Bagent.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a big match for you. How are you feeling? You feeling pretty good? You've been preparing for a while, or is it something you just kind of jumped on the
I
boat?
found out about this match less than a month ago.
Oh shit! So you jumped on the boat, man. Like, damn.
I had a right-handed match set at this event against Kyle Hutchison, the #1 guy from Ireland.
Yeah.
And so I was prepping for that for a few months, started to build some confidence, and then Kyle tore his left rotator cuff. So he
Oh,
can't even hold on to the peg. So he backed out, and we talked for a while, and we couldn't agree on someone right-handed. And I'm already going out there because I'm commentating with Travis as well. And so I was already have the ticket booked and everything. And so I was randomly like, well, Travis is there, and I know he's making his comeback. He's starting to arm wrestle. I was like, I'll pull Travis. Okay, like
That'll be
do
a good
that.
match for you, man. That'll be definitely a nice little test for him too, because he hasn't been around for a while. So both of you
Right.
guys will be in a position where you're both tested, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing he's pretty strong right now from a few different people. They said that they think he's almost 2018 shape, Travis, like WL shape. So we're gonna see. But I know that the last time me and Travis pulled, he came out to a practice out here, and this was pre Tom Nelson Derek as well. This is smaller Derek, and I was whooping his ass right-handed then. So I've gotten a lot stronger since then. But that was an untrained Travis at the same time. So like a small, weaker Derek versus untrained Travis. Derek won, at least right-handed. We didn't pull left-handed. But I don't know. Like, we'll see. Things have changed. I've changed a lot. Obviously, he'll be trained up, so I don't know.
Well,
We'll see how.
the thing with Travis is he has an amazing surge. His explosive technique is really good, but his endurance tends to be what gets him in trouble a lot of the time.
Right. Oh,
So
if you stop Travis, that's it. He's got to get
exactly.
to
So
stop.
yeah, if you can just block him, you're in the game. So
Mhm.
it's a situation. How are you feeling about your endurance right now? Have you been training, going high reps with high
Wait,
endurance,
I've been
or
I've been on the I never, I run my team, so I'm at practice every Sunday. It never ever stops. So not that I'm some table beast, but I get way more table time than Travis does. I know
exactly?
that much. So
Yeah.
in terms of endurance, it's stopping and things like that. If it stops, I'll feel okay. I'm not super worried about if it stops. It's just stopping it. That's the thing. Travis is obviously gonna time it, do his hit, and all the things, and probably go off the back of the elbow pad. So I'm gonna be all over the referees about that. Because him doing his move is one thing. Him doing his move against someone with my length of an arm is going to be a different thing, right?
Exactly. I think
So
your arms actually stacks higher than his, doesn't it? You
yeah.
guys go elbow for elbow. Your index knuckle
Oh,
gets higher
yeah,
than his,
Travis
and
is a
your
little
webbing
guy.
definitely does as well. Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
little guy. He's tiny.
You guys are both huge compared to me, so I'm like, oh shit. Now, are you training for any other matches that are coming up other than Travis,
um,
or?
I have. They just set up a match. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to. They just got on me because I mentioned it in my podcast, and then they're like, "Hey, we're not really announcing it yet." I'm like, "Oh shit, sorry." Um,
So you have
but
something coming up. You don't have to get too
yeah,
specific. I don't want to get you in trouble. You know how things kind of, things
it's
go
supposedly
nowadays.
around February. I supposed to have something right-handed.
That should be a little bit of time for you to prep for at
Yeah,
least.
I'm gonna try to find something to do between now and then, though. Probably at least left-handed somewhere. Greg Sharp's event's coming up. I might throw that left-handed. I really don't mind. I'll throw it in a tournament, local. I don't really care where I throw my left too much. So I'll throw that around. It's just right-handed. I'm trying to stick to only super matches right-handed. I don't. I worked really hard, and it's worth the to get the right hand to where it's at, and to go to a tournament and have 3 wars and get smoked by some dude at an easy bracket that's ranked 40 places lower than me, and then I'm like, oh, dude, well there goes viewers and sponsorships, like over some
Yeah,
guy
and
I
then
can
also
actually
the
beat fresh.
potential of an injury on an arm that you could
Oh
potentially
yeah,
be
oh
making
no,
a
well,
good
there's always
income
that.
on. So it's not worth it if you're not getting something out of it, obviously.
And you
So
gotta think, you take a week off rest before the event, and then after you're done, you're beat up. That's another week. So it's basically half a month of training you prep for each event, right?
yeah.
So, or that you're going to dedicate to that. So it's just, I know it's not worth it. Now, in terms of California arm wrestling, nobody has challenged me right-handed to a super match since I've been #1. I have not had one call out. So people are talking shit about me not pulling more in. No one said anything. I'm wide
No,
open.
who in Cali would be close to your weight?
Um, my weight.
Yeah, like your weight. I mean, obviously your stature, it's going to be difficult to match in California. I mean, people that I think of with your stature would probably be like someone like Matt Mask or Devin,
hmm,
some of the bigger guys. But I mean, in California, I don't know if there's anybody that's like, you're a big guy,
not
Derek. I
at the
mean,
upper
shit.
level, like Big Alan
Yeah.
Hodsey is like 400 pounds. He's heavier than me. When Tony was here, Tony was about the same weight, but he
Oh, Tony
moved.
Tomlinson. Yeah.
Yeah, who else is around here? I'm trying to think of big guys. But generally, I think the other strongest guys in California being like Tom Nelson, Mega Mike, Larry Wheels, they're all around like 240, 250, 260, somewhere in there usually. Um,
Yeah.
they're just
Alex is a good pretty good puller as well.
yeah.
Alex De La Torre.
Alex should always have been below 242. I've been telling that for years.
No,
Lazy ass.
he was getting close to 300 pounds, dude, for a
Oh
minute.
yeah, he was there yesterday. I was talking to him. He has the fiance now. He's planning his marriage and stuff, and he's all busy. It's just
Life moves
the
on.
frustrating thing about Alex is he's so good and so smart and has
Yeah.
like the best world champions surrounding him. I'm like, dude, just make 242s. Like he keeps competing against guys my size or bigger, and I'm like, it doesn't show how good Alex is because he is really good. And like, oh man, I always get so frustrated with Alex because he could do amazing at 242s. He always goes against guys that are way bigger than him.
Yeah.
So
He needs to cut. He needs to get in shape for sure.
Now, I heard just off of the link that essentially you're gonna be featured in a film here, I guess.
yeah.
It's getting published or
So
it's been
well,
published.
it came so about 6 months ago. I actually I went to an Arm Fest practice, and there was a girl in the corner with a camera, like a nice DSLR professional setup, headphones, and she was interviewing people. And I started asking the guys like, who's that? Like what's going on over there? And they're like, well, she's some USC student, and she's filming something about arm wrestling. She wants to do like an arm wrestling documentary. I was like, oh, cool. And so she she met the guys in LA, like Kevin and some of those guys, and like and Mika and those guys. She came with them. I guess they invited her. And so at some point, someone told her something about me or who I am or whatever. She grabbed me and said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a little bit?" I said, "Yeah, of course." Sat down, mic'd up. We do the interview, and she loved it. Everybody loved my story, but also all the guys are so bad in front of a camera. Hi, I really like to arm wrestle. I have
The robots, bro. When you
yeah,
become a
exactly. So
robot
I
on
sit
camera, they're
down.
like next.
I sit down and I'm totally at ease. I love being in front of camera, so it's fine. And so I started going to my story and all the things. And so I guess she made her decision there that she wanted to kind of focus on me instead and like kind of follow my journey. So she messaged me, and then she came over to my team's practice the next weekend, filmed the guys at my grandma's house. Then she came over to my house, filmed some stuff here of me like making my pre-workouts and things like that. Then we went to the gym. She filmed me working out, and then she filmed another practice. Um, so she was in a film class at USC, and everybody had to make a documentary in the class, I guess. And this is her final grade to graduate from USC. And the final 3 films, I think, that place the best get chosen to go on to Spectrum Internet. Now, Spectrum's an internet service out here, but it's like the main one. Like I have Spectrum here. And so if you have Spectrum Internet, then you have access to Spectrum TV. And so that's their streaming service. So yeah, yesterday, this happened 6 months ago. She messaged me, "Hey, we won. Everybody loved the arm wrestling thing. It's crazy." I got to talk to her professor at USC. Like we streamed it, and it was super cool. And
Very cool.
and she's like, "Okay, so there's gonna be like a red carpet event where I'll let you know, and you can bring the team when they're gonna actually show it at the campus and all this stuff." I was like, "Great." And then I never heard from her again. And I messaged her like 6 times, and she ghosted me. And I'm like, I don't. She said we won, and I have never heard from her again. This is 6 months ago. So I'm like, well, I don't know. She said it was gonna go on Spectrum. I don't know anything else. I haven't talked to anybody. So yesterday, I get a phone call from my daughter's grandma, and she's like, "I see you on TV." And I'm like, "What?" And so she starts sending me screenshots of her TV in the garage, and she's like, it's the documentary. I'm like, "Oh my God, like how do I get this?" And I'm like trying. So I was scrambling all day yesterday, and Spectrum TV is kind of like old school TV or like the old school radio where you can't pause it or skip. It just goes, and you have to be on it when it's going. And so I was like, "Oh shit!" And so I found the guide, and I found when it's coming on again. And so we tried to record it on my phone. I tried to screen record it because it's about 20 minutes long, and it wouldn't let me. The app blocks screen recording. I'm like, oh my God. And the last showing was 9 o'clock last night. So I got home, got the PC. I was like, downloaded screen capturing stuff on here. And so I was able to do it on my computer. So I got the whole thing on my computer. Because I don't know if it's ever going to show again because there was other documentaries. It was on like the news channel, and it was just a little part of it. And so I'm like, but I captured it all.
Hey,
So I'm gonna upload it on my YouTube channel tonight. I'm gonna do a little like a breakdown of it, so you'll see my face, so I don't get copyrighted. I'll put my face in the corner, do a little breakdown of it, and show the whole thing on my channel tonight.
I should have did the same thing with pro football and arm wrestling, bro. It aired literally one time, footage
Mhm.
disappeared. Now all that's left is the pilot that's on YouTube, which is like 2 minutes long, and it was golden footage, man.
Yeah,
That's the
I was like, dude,
same
I don't know if
thing
anybody
with
saw this.
the same thing with the World Series of Arm Wrestling. Remember, we couldn't videotape, and a
Mhm.
lot of guys didn't get to see their matches, and that's kind
Yep.
of a bummer. Like they should still let us film, but sign something saying we're not going to publish it or put it on, on any streaming sites. That way, you still have it for your personal viewing.
Yeah, at least the amateurs or the after polling and stuff like that, like they only use some of the pro matches. They didn't even touch the amateurs or the after polling. Like, why couldn't they film for that? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I think Alex did release some of the footage from the Mr. Olympia.
Oh, dude.
So yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
Alex.
Did.
Yeah, that was
Alex.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, he
but
did
he had,
release some of the footage. He had permission from them to film, and then after time went by, I believe he got further permission to actually release the footage. So
Y'all
So
probably
we-
get the qualifier,
we did
left-handed qualifier.
information.
now, Derek, what are you doing specifically to train as of late? It's been a while since we've really touched bases with each other. I've been kind of out of the game for a while. Obviously, I had a daughter, so. But what have you been doing to train lately, man?
We'll assume everything's perfect in my life and I'm training full bore, which is never the case. But if it is somehow, then we'll say that the diet's on point. So it's generally the vertical diet, which is like ground red meat, white rice, vegetables, low gas vegetables, things like that. All about digestion and getting nutrients in there and out as fast as you can. So that's usually the diet I stick to when I'm on point. 8 hours of sleep. I bought a CPAP machine. Once I pass about 3:45, I start getting the not sleeping too well. So I'm good now, but once I get heavier, I have to use that CPAP machine. And then I will try to drink 2 of these a day, 2 of my gallon jugs a day. And then after that, it's gym. It's gym 5 days a week. So practice Sunday. I usually pull every other Sunday if I'm really prepping for something. And then so that way I have one solid week of feeling 100%, so I can focus on the gym a little more.
So you are
Monday-
incorporating the gym a lot more now as
Yeah,
you've advanced because that's definitely becoming more crucial to your training regimen.
So Monday's
Well,
the off day. What's up?
Well, I was going to say, obviously, how how I've been kind of on your ass as far as getting out there and competing more in tournaments and just participating a little bit more on the table. And it's not to criticize you, because I truly believe that's what you need to do to get better on the table, because the more experience the more time you spend on the table in competition, the more you're going to learn about
I
yourself.
kind of counter that though, Scott. Once you know that a vector's failed, you want to go back and repair that vector before reapproaching an event, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but there's nothing like being on the table. Nothing ever compare to being on the table in a real event with ready goes. Nothing can touch that.
What's your
I-
take, Derek?
Huh?
What's your take? What do you
Well,
personally
his
feel
take's
is more
different, obviously.
beneficial to
Yeah, I
your
mean,
advancement?
Scott's not wrong. Scott's not wrong in that table time is king. That'll get you the sharpest you need to get. At a certain level, you don't have to be 100 level sharp. You can be 90 sharp and horsepower will take over the rest, or 85 sharp. You know what I mean? At the top level guys, yes, we would love to be optimal in terms of so much table time that everything's sharp, but that's not going to build pure table time approach in terms of training is super damaging. It's super unhealthy for your body and joints. That's why Devin and John have need multiple surgeries. Those guys promote all table time because everything's out of whack. Our sport is very damaging to our body. So a gym approach is way more healthy in terms of healthy always. Probably,
longevity in the sport to prevent the injuries. I agree.
So there's that, but in terms of like what Scott's talking about being sharp on the table, making the right adjustments and things like that.
For technical advancement, obviously, you need the hands-on control.
I just don't think.
Those guys are perfect examples, and myself. You know what I mean? And you're right. Excessive pulling when you have injuries, you're not going to injure. That's the addictive part of arm wrestling. But you just talked about the 2 best guys at arm wrestling. And what do? They don't lift weights. They don't fucking train like, well, Devin does a little bit. He does a lot of those weird exercises and PRs, but John never really did that. John was mostly table time and competition. And that's why he was so good. For myself, I would attribute that's why I'm as good as I am, technical wise. Now, on the other aspect, I could definitely use gym time. I could definitely use getting stronger, and it would increase my ability to take first place. You know, I take a
there's
lot of
definitely
seconds
you
and a
got to
lot of
find that
thirds.
balance though, Scott, as well, because I would say as you're developing that table time initially, you need to get those technical advancements. Once you understand the technique and you have those fundamentals down, then you want to start developing that power endurance, which is really going to come from either training with high level athletes, and if you don't have access to high level athletes, that's where I feel the gym is most beneficial. So that's how I've always perceived it. If you can go train with John every day, yeah, go with John, and you're probably not going to go 100% with each other. You're going to work with each other and give and take. But
Right.
if
Well,
you don't have access to a high level athlete, you're going to go to the gym and be able to push yourself at a percentage of your max to increase those increments of strength.
But and in terms of that same argument you were saying, Scott, like so Devin and John, great examples, two of the best guys to ever do it. Now keep going on that list. Let's talk about the top 15 guys. And it's gonna be all guys that blast gear and lift in the gym. It's primarily
right. Well, let's take Dave Chafee, for example.
Okay.
There's a guy that trains gym mostly. He's a freaking monster. Is his ability on the table that good? No. That's where he lacks. Is his ability on the table. Like his technique is flawed. Richard Lupus, same thing. You got a massively strong man that used hardly any technique. He used all sheer power. And guys were able to beat him, like Travis. You know what I mean? And that's the only reason why is because they didn't even your guy Brian Shaw right now. You know, I see him training with Devin now, and I saw him train with you. He's lacking technical ability, not power.
Hopefully
And
that'll
you,
come with time as he trains with more advanced athletes, and if he progresses focusing in that area, I think he can get better. But if he just goes to the gym and tries to replicate technique, it'll be a slow process for him, and he'll learn through losses.
Scott Mendelson, another perfect example, right? The dude's super strong. He gets in awkward positions, but his technical ability is so flawed that he's still not at the level he could be at.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I was going to say with you, I just see little small things still with you leaning in, your arms still kind of downward instead of coming straight up, and getting your rise and getting that power and using your height and the size of your hand and your arm to your advantage. Like I still see those little flaws that could be perfected. That's going to change your whole game.
Do you feel like being so big and having such a long measurement from elbow to web or elbow to index often forces you into a lower position and you compromise your height?
No, I mean it used to back when I was a little more inexperienced. Nowadays, I've started to realize I pretty much am elbow front right all the time, so I can slant it down to middle table, so I can still
manipulate the angle so you can
Yeah.
still gain the height. Yeah.
So I'm still that, and that's what Devin does the same thing. Always elbow front right, and then he fights for center, so it makes it look like he's dropping his height rather than having to actually suck the arm back. Which like all the amateur guys just go right in the middle. They go, oh, you gotta lower me. They go like this, but if you flare out, you can drop it. You can drop the angle down, right? So I'm doing that now. But it depends on who I'm arm wrestling, really, because in the super heavyweight level, there's either you're short, fat guys, or you're like tall, long guys, kind of in terms of builds, you know. And
Yeah,
so
your match against Mendy was a good example of you using your height, in my opinion.
right, yeah, it's what a lot of people, and actually I want to make a video about this. This is kind of an interesting topic. Is that at super heavyweight, elite level, very high level super heavyweight arm wrestling, the swings in power are so wild because there's no restriction on weight. These guys get insanely tsunami strong in generally one angle or one thing, right? They become a little less versatile on the table, and so they compensate that with just general power. Is normally, right? Obviously there's exceptions all over this place, but that's the norm. So you tend to. I could watch any video of any super heavyweight arm wrestler and be like, hey, actually, the textbook answer for that situation, he should have slid his pinky finger up there and done this thing, right? There's always that more proper answer. But then you also have to think about this guy has spent, you know, at what point are we going to tell Jerry Cadwell he should have top rolled that dude? right? Because Jerry has spent so many years getting strong and overwhelmingly powerful in his one move. That's where he's strong at. So he tries to find a way to get his move to work, or he's playing to his strengths. That for him to restart and suddenly do this thing, because the textbook said he should have done this, is not realistic to expect out of elite super heavyweights.